The film opens with five friends on a long drive. Guerrero, Combo, Tanco, Toro, and Polo look relaxed, joking around and debating what they should eat for lunch. But this is no ordinary road trip. These men are members of Mexico's most elite special forces unit. What seems like a calm moment is shattered when another vehicle suddenly slams into them and gunfire erupts. This was only the beginning of their counterattack. Welcome to Counter-Strike. Then the story rewinds to 72 hours earlier. At a small cafe, Guerrero is sitting with his friend Tucho when they notice something disturbing happening right outside a police station. A group of gangsters is openly causing trouble, acting as if they own the entire neighborhood. They are bold enough to commit crimes in front of the police station itself. The gang is trying to drag away a young woman named Carla. She had come to report something to the authorities, something connected to those very same criminals. Her mother, Lucia, desperately tries to stop them, but the two women are no match for the armed men. Guerrero cannot ignore what he is seeing. As a military officer, he steps in without hesitation and confronts the gang, overpowering them in a fierce struggle. Moments later, police officers rush out of the station, but instead of helping, they point their guns at Guerrero, who is holding the gang leader at gunpoint. To avoid any confusion, Guerrero shows his badge and identifies himself as a captain in Mexico's elite forces. The mood changes instantly. One of the officers realizes who he is and orders his men to arrest the criminals. As Guerrero prepares to leave, Lucia and Carla approach him. They explain that they came to the police station to report the discovery of a mass grave located not far from there. Hearing this, the military quickly takes over the investigation. Special forces and forensic teams are deployed since a case of this magnitude cannot be trusted to the local police. At the site, they uncover the bodies of several soldiers buried in the area. It is clear that this was a brutal massacre, but at this point, no one knows who is responsible. The military holds a formal funeral ceremony to honor the fallen soldiers, attended by grieving families. The discovery becomes national news, broadcast across nearly every television station in Mexico. Reports reveal that the soldiers were tortured and killed during a mission to capture a powerful drug lord named Josefo Urias. Elsewhere, Josefo is seen in a meeting of his own. He warns his men to be cautious of Guerrero, acknowledging that he is not someone to underestimate. At the same time, Josefo has already set another plan in motion. He orders his men to kidnap Lucia and Carla. Back at the military headquarters, Guerrero gathers his team to plan the capture of Josefo. Combo, Tanco, Toro, and Polo are all fully involved in the mission. Intelligence points to a man named Lalo, one of Josefo's key enforcers, as the one responsible for the massacre. The strategy is clear. They will capture Lalo first and use him as bait to draw out Josefo and dismantle his network once and for all. The next day, Guerrero and his team put their plan into action. It does not take long before they track down Lalo and capture him while he is casually eating at a restaurant. The operation is clean and efficient, just the way an elite unit works. At the same time, something far more troubling is happening behind closed doors. Josefo is meeting with Mexico's Minister of Defense. The purpose of the meeting is simple. Josefo is there to pay a bribe, making sure the military stays off his back. During that conversation, the minister reveals a shocking detail. Guerrero's phone has already been tapped. He also informs Josefo that Lalo has been captured and will likely be used as the fall guy for the massacre. Back at the base, Guerrero and his men are rewarded for capturing Lalo. They are given 3 days of leave. After everything they have been through, the break feels well-deserved. They head home to spend time with their loved ones, even taking a group photo before parting ways, wanting to remember the bond they built during countless missions. But the peace does not last. Their short vacation is interrupted by the shooting incident we saw at the beginning. Josefo's men ambush the 5 soldiers, determined to eliminate Guerrero once and for all. However, this is no ordinary target. Guerrero and his team quickly regain control and take down the attackers with precision. Just when it seems over, Romano arrives with reinforcements. Another fierce firefight erupts, but once again, Guerrero and his team prove why they are considered the best. Romano's men fall one by one. Romano himself is left gravely wounded. Before dying, he warns Guerrero that Josefo will never stop hunting them. This fight is far from over. Realizing more enemies could arrive at any moment, Guerrero and his team leave immediately. On the way, Guerrero contacts military headquarters, reporting that they are being pursued by Josefo and his gang and requesting backup. Not long after they depart, Josefo arrives at the scene where Romano's body lies. Seeing his fallen ally triggers a wave of rage. Romano was more than just a subordinate to him, he was like a brother. Fueled by revenge, Josefo orders his men to track Guerrero using the tapped phone signal. Meanwhile, Guerrero and the others move through the forest, heading toward a security outpost. They hope to regroup and gain support, but their trail is discovered sooner than expected. Another gunfight breaks out in the wilderness. They manage to eliminate the attackers, but the cost is high. Polo is shot in the left shoulder, and Tanco suffers serious injuries to his ear and leg. Combo quickly steps in, doing everything he can to treat their wounds in the field. Elsewhere, one surviving member of Josefo's crew reports back with the details of the clash. Josefo remains calm. He is confident that no matter where Guerrero runs, he will find him. With the defense minister feeding him information, tracking Guerrero is only a matter of time. Josefo and his men waste no time moving toward the location shown by the phone signal. But when they arrive, Guerrero and his team are nowhere to be found. Instead, they discover Guerrero's phone placed on top of the bodies of 5 of Josefo's own men. In that moment, Josefo realizes he has been outsmarted. Guerrero already knew the phone was compromised. Elsewhere, with Polo and Tanco badly wounded, the team decides to stop and rest for a while. Combo carefully checks their injuries again, but it is clear their condition is getting worse. Time is not on their side. Meanwhile, Guerrero takes a look at Romano's phone, which he grabbed earlier. As he scrolls through it, he discovers a video that changes everything. The footage reveals that the Minister of Defense has been secretly working with Josefo all along. It confirms their worst suspicion. They are not just fighting a cartel, they are up against corruption at the highest level. Realizing how dangerous their situation truly is, Guerrero decides they need to move faster. Reaching the nearest security outpost and calling for backup is now their top priority. On the way, they come across a house that appears to be used by a criminal group. Combo suggests they clear it and use it as a temporary shelter. They desperately need a safe place to treat Polo and Tanco properly. Without hesitation, they storm the house and neutralize everyone inside. But what they find next catches them completely off guard. Inside the house are 2 hostages. It turns out to be Lucia and Carla, who had been kidnapped earlier by Josefo's men. Seeing the mother and daughter in such terrible condition hits the team hard. Guerrero reassures them and does everything he can to calm them down. While securing the house, the team also finds weapons, ammunition, and explosives stored inside. Now they are not only soldiers on the run, they are protectors of 2 civilians. Every decision from this point forward has to be made with extreme caution. The burden they carry grows heavier, but giving up has never been part of who they are. As soldiers, they push forward no matter the cost. Their mission is not over. That night, Guerrero explains to Lucia and Carla that Josefo and his men are actively hunting them. There is no safe place to stay. The only option is to leave immediately and head for the security outpost to request reinforcements. Before moving out, they fit Lucia and Carla with bulletproof vests and position them in the center of the formation, surrounded by Guerrero and his team for maximum protection. Everything is set. They prepare to leave the house, but the moment they step outside, chaos erupts. Josefo launches a sudden attack. Outnumbered and under heavy fire, Guerrero and his team are forced back inside the house. They take cover and return fire with the limited ammunition they have left. It is a desperate situation. Watching the soldiers fight so hard, Lucia and Carla refuse to just stand by. They want to help. Seeing their courage, Guerrero makes a difficult decision and quickly teaches them how to handle a firearm. At the same time, Combo asks Tanco to cover their position while he focuses on treating Polo's worsening injuries. Outside, Josefo and his men keep firing non-stop at the house, forcing Guerrero and the others to stay low and hold their positions. The walls shake under the constant assault. Then in a brief moment when Josefo's men pause to reload, Guerrero signals his team and they strike back. One of Guerrero's shots hits an enemy, slowing the attack. As the gunfire eases for a second, Guerrero quickly checks on his team, making sure everyone is still alive and holding their ground. The responses come back one by one, but Tanco is in bad shape. He has been shot by Josefo and can barely move. All he can do is call out for more ammunition. Since Guerrero and the others cannot leave their positions, Carla steps forward and offers to bring ammo to Tanco. At the same time, unknown to the team, several of Josefo's men slip into the house through a hidden tunnel. Within moments, they burst inside and confront Tanco and Carla face to face. Realizing the danger, Tanco tells Carla to get away from him. He knows there is no other way. To protect his friends, Tanco makes the ultimate sacrifice. He detonates an explosive, taking himself and the attackers with him. The loss hits hard, and before the shock can even settle, tragedy strikes again. Polo is shot by Josefo during the chaos. He has already lost too much blood, and there is nothing that can be done to save him. Guerrero watches another brother fall. Lucia and Carla feel the weight of that sacrifice as well. These men risked everything to protect them. In the middle of the battlefield, grief mixes with gratitude as they silently pray for Tanco and Polo. Eventually, the gunfire fades. Josefo is left alone. With no men remaining, he drops his weapon and surrenders. But instead of ending it there, he demands a final one-on-one fight with Guerrero. As a soldier, Guerrero refuses to harm an unarmed opponent. He accepts the challenge. The fight is brutal. At first, Josefo gains the upper hand, showing that he is skilled in hand-to-hand combat. Guerrero struggles to keep up, but then he remembers the faces of his fallen friends. Their sacrifice reignites something inside him. Strength returns. He pushes forward with everything he has left. Driven by loss and duty, Guerrero overwhelms Josefo and finally brings him down. When it is over, he rejoins the others and makes it clear that the nightmare has ended. Through the blood and exhaustion, Guerrero's patriotism shines through. He has lost friends, but he has not lost his principles. The next morning, reinforcements finally arrive. Josefo, barely alive, is taken into custody. Guerrero deliberately spared him. He wants Josefo alive to testify in court and expose the corrupt officials who supported him, including the Minister of Defense. In the end, Guerrero, Combo, Toro, Lucia, and Carla are flown out by helicopter. They leave with heavy hearts carrying the pain of losing Tanco and Polo. But the memory of their courage and sacrifice will stay with them forever. So the moral of the story is always check if your phone is tapped, never trust a corrupt minister, and maybe just stick to arguing about lunch instead of fighting a whole cartel.